Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos Committee Podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of January 29th, 2023. Congratulations, Chiefs. You just pulled off a win, despite having one of the most cowardly punts I've seen in a long time. Oh, but our field goal kicker isn't great, and that's the weird range. Still, don't do that. The Eagles won earlier today. Philadelphia, I assume, is burning itself down and or just completely drunk out of their minds, or both, which is always how victory should be celebrated.
Yeah.
Climbing all of the poles, despite grease having been applied to the poles.
Mm-hmm. They should know that it takes more than grease to stop an Eagles fan.
Honestly, I don't know why the city bothers anymore, because it clearly doesn't work.
At a certain point, you're in a red flag to a bull kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many outfits the Rocky statue has had this evening.
Oh, I can imagine.
If I set the over-under at 12, what are you taking?
Oh, over on that, because who knows what different outfits he's had tonight.
Yeah, I feel like that's a push. 12 feels like a lot.
What about the Ben Franklin statue?
Somebody's climbing all the way up on top of City Hall.
Guaranteed.
Oh, wait, no, that's William Penn. That's William Penn. Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Philly. If you were really about it, you'd be climbing City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, Jesus.
I'll see your asses at Broad Market.
Now you want to fight Philly? You were fighting Minnesota last time. Now you're going after Philly.
We had so many people. We had people step up in our mentions, being like, "Yeah, all that St. Olaf hate, all that D3 talk, Minnesota talk, made me feel seen." So there you go, Beth. You reached out, some people were there. They were like, "Yeah, hell yeah."
As a fellow D3 alum, I get it, guys.
They felt good. The D3 folks felt. I mean, that's what we do at the committee here. We recognize the small schools, like everybody that's playing football, because we love it on all levels. I mean, to play for some crazy trophies too. That's fantastic. There were more that we didn't mention too. There was like some crazy like clog shoes, like some duck shoes.
So awesome.
So I've gotten issues with that because that's Union and RPI, and those are both D1 hockey teams, ECAC, who are my rivals in hockey. So I'm going to refuse to mention them.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
My parents are RIT alumni, and I approve this message.
Oh, yeah.
See, it's just fodder for future episodes.
Exactly.
Trophies are such a rich well.
Even just going through more of them, we're going to go back to the D3 well so many times because the D1 ones are funny, and we're like, oh, it's a wagon wheel, oh, whatever. And then D3's like, nah, fuckers, we got a cranberry scoop. Okay, well then, got a badass here. It's good. PittGirl, we're going to give you some time to flame Crichton.
Thank you.
Creighton? Is it Creighton? Crichton?
It's Creighton.
Okay.
It's Creighton.
Wait, is it in the middle of what I said?
Creighton?
Creighton.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, pronunciation.
God damn it.
We've been here. So, for context for the listeners, floating around on, I think, Friday evening, it came to college basketball internet's attention that the Blue Crew, the student section at Creighton, had ostensibly put out a cheer sheet that had reminders for the student section on it, such as, people will be watching you. Your face paint makes you an attraction. Act like it. Be respectful. Most fans just want to relax. Do not be too loud. Do cheer for our team. The front row is reserved for us, so there's no need to arrive more than 15 minutes early. Clap when St. John's gets introduced too. They are our welcome guests. Et cetera, et cetera. I should say, in the interests of the journalistic integrity of the Sickos committee, that the Blue Crew has said that this cheer sheet is fake. However, if you go through Twitter and you look at the response of even what appear to be Creighton alumni to this particular cheer sheet, it was plausible that this was real. There were people who thought that it was real. And as an alumna of the Oakland Zoo, man, this is some weak fucking shit. And the fact that this is even plausible is incredibly embarrassing for Creighton. Even false flag by St. John's, whatever. Good job, whoever did this. Honestly, great joke, because Creighton, you should be embarrassed. This is me putting on my Hayton S. Spurrier hat. The zoo was not even at its peak when I was in school, and I still almost got kicked out of a basketball game. This is my finest moment of Pitt basketball fandom, because I ended up right behind the announcers at the 2015 NIT game against GW, and security was like, I'm going to need you to not say all of the things that you're currently saying too loudly. Yeah, the zoo is very, very well known for things like that. After the Pacino scandal broke, we had fake money that we were just flinging around after three pointers.
Nice.
Yeah, very, 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 very tough place to play. Not as much anymore, but we're on the way back up. I
Look at
see you,
that.
Miami. You down.
Oh.
Oh,
Has anyone else almost ever been kicked out of a game before?
They thought I threw a battery one time at a West Virginia game.
Okay.
I didn't.
Did-
It was the
Did-
dude next to me,
But finding the person who throws the battery at the West Virginia game is the really hard. That's a hard task. Let's be honest here.
I mean, I was at a West Virginia game at one point where the referees had to stop it and tell us to please stop throwing, and I quote, whiskey bottles onto the playing surface. So we're a delightful bunch.
God, that's beautiful.
That is one way of putting it.
Kamish, any almost ejections for you?
I
What?
really can't think of any.
What gets you tossed at ULM?
That's
Well,
a
I
good
mean, like,
question.
That's the thing. It's like, it's really not anybody. When we were there, well, I'm sorry, when I was there, we were quite awful. I'm talking like 1-10.
Mhm.
I'm talking 2-9. Maybe like a high water mark of 3-8 or something while I was there.
Mhm.
Hell
Um,
yeah. I'm
I
a ULM.
really-
Put this in my veins.
Yeah, it's just like, how do I get tossed and get heated about a 1-10 team? I don't. I'm rather even keel at games. I'm not too high, too low. I don't really get. I feel kind of rather stoic. I mean, I'll get excited when there's like a big play, but I'm not. I just remember one game that we were just talking a bunch of trash with the Idaho players.
Yeah.
So it was ULM versus
Love the
Idaho.
Sun Belt. Love that
And
old Sun
both
Belt.
in the Sun Belt, ULM Idaho, both in the Sun Belt. Classic Sun Belt rivalry, that Idaho, Monroe, Louisiana connection.
Mhm.
And we were just talking mad trash about potatoes in Idaho, just going back and forth. And really, the student section, it was maybe like 30 of us. Like,
Yeah.
the team probably outnumbered us. The Idaho team probably had more than us, but we would just
Mhm.
just some lighthearted, chit chat back and forth. And I don't even think we had security on our side, because I mean, it's like there's only like 30 people over there.
What
So
are you guys
it's
going
just
to
like,
do? Yeah.
And I was like, what are you? Yeah, I mean, they outnumber us. Like, if we tried to do anything to them, the team would take us out. So really, nothing that I can think of. Really, I can't think of anything. I remember there was some rowdiness when North Texas fans came one game, but that was on the other side of the stadium. So I don't know. There was some heated exchanges of words and whatnot with some reffing, but nothing to get me kicked out.
I was almost ejected from a Harvard Dartmouth hockey game in Cambridge for just being as annoying as humanly possible.
I want to imagine you like trying to lasso someone with a scarf.
That would have been so good. The thing about being in the band most of the time is that it's hard to get ejected. It's hard to be too rowdy in the band
That's very true.
because you have numbers. And so most of the times I can think of were times where I went like of my own volition someplace else, and I was, bringing that band energy to a place where it was not necessarily wanted or needed. Put it that way. The Duquesne game thing.
Did you
Was
want to
that-
introduce
was-
everybody?
Oh shit.
Why would we do that?
I was just gonna
Fine.
let it go as long
Fine.
as possible, but
There-
we
there-
went
there
for
are
like
people
10
here
minutes,
tonight.
and I was like, I'm gonna hold off on it.
There are people here tonight. Fine. I'm Jordan. You know me. There's Kamish. And I got PittGirl. I got Beth.
Hey, yo,
PittGirl is drinking homemade wine tonight.
I am.
Beth is drinking hot chocolate
It's very true.
and just destroyed a Frosty the Snowman chocolate melty thing.
Yep.
And Kamish, what are you drinking?
Just some, I don't know, some sour beer, I guess.
Sour
So-
beer.
Some
Okay.
sour beers for the evening.
hmm
I've got some whiskey, so we're doing good. Fine. That's our intro. Everyone happy
There we
now?
go. Happy, yes.
Welcome
Now
to the Sickos Committee Wait, did we do that part?
Yeah, I did that part. I did do that
Welcome
part.
to the
Okay.
Sicko.
I forgot the intro, but I forgot the introductions, but I did the introduction of the show. Yes. So the Duquesne basketball game, there was the DoorDash dude that wandered on the court. Was it fake? Yes?
Yes.
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 God damn it.
It has been confirmed that it was a planned stunt, unfortunately. There's a picture somewhere floating around of like the guy was wearing a mic, which is
Oh.
incredibly disappointing. I really enjoyed seeing that in real time. It's still funny. It's just less funny than if it had happened organically.
Did the refs know?
No. I don't
Okay,
think so. A
so
student planned it.
they legitimately interrupted a D1 basketball game though for
Yes.
whatever this was.
I mean,
Okay, so
yeah,
that's even weirder, I think, that it was like a plan.
TikTok.
I guess, man. I don't know.
I mean, so I was excited when it happened because we got tagged in it immediately when it happened. Like our Sickos
Yeah.
college basketball, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. And then like maybe 30 minutes later, I tweeted underneath it. I was like, I just can't wait until we find out that this is some sort of viral planned prank. You know, we were enjoying it. And I was like, I'm just gonna enjoy it until we find out it's a planned prank. It turned out there was a YouTuber. He had like a microphone in his collar. Somebody linked the video to us, and it shows him like outside the stands getting ready to do this. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And so like even some of our followers are just like, okay, I am reporting this. This is harmful. Because honestly, if that was planned, I mean, really, he almost ran into like the players. Like if you're doing that on purpose. Now, if it was fake, I mean, if it was like he really lost on purpose or something like that, that was great. It would have been hilarious. But like that stunt, it was just like it takes everything away from it. It's not funny. It's dangerous. I mean, he was within like a step or two of a player. And if the player attempted to dribble instead of throw an entry pass, which was a very bad
just
entry
slammed
pass,
straight into him,
he would have ran right into him and just knocking the fake. I don't know. It was real soda or something. But I mean, to go through all that for a Duquesne game.
How did he get onto like? How bad is okay? So I know that courtside security at a lot of D1 games at the top level. Okay, it's like football. Like there's very strict things. But I know at smaller schools and like less like there's not a whole lot of like
Duquesne's
stuff around the
not
court.
that small, and I haven't been in their gym, but like it's pretty nice from what I understand.
It is, but
the area
it's small.
Yeah, I mean, I would think also based on like they're in uptown Pittsburgh, like it's not I would think that they would have more robust security than say like Robert Morris or other universities that are in a less like urban area. Like Duquesne is very within walking distance of the Pitt-Can. Like there's a lot of stuff in the general Duquesne area.
Yeah.
And I assume that they like Pitt take security pretty seriously, especially after the year before I was a freshman at Pitt, there was this whole saga where somebody kept calling bomb threats in on campus, and it turned out that it was this guy that lived in Northern Ireland, and like it was a whole thing. Nothing happened, but it was still real scary. Which is to say that I'm sure Duquesne also like learned some lessons from that and is really on top of their shit. Which is actually like I have a friend who I think of as the internet's most online Duquesne fan, and I like immediately messaged him when this happened and was like, "How did this guy even get in the building?" And he was like, "I don't know."
Right.
I haven't been to a Duquesne game in a couple of years, but like I recall a normal ticketing procedure. It didn't seem like the kind of place you could just sort of wander into. It's definitely small, you know, and it's not quite as bustly as a lot of the other D1 schools that I've been to, but it didn't seem like the kind of place you could just wander into or that this could easily happen.
Yeah. All right, so we got Duquesne stadium capacity 4,400.
Okay.
So 4,400. They were playing, I mean, they're like middle in their conference, so it wasn't really like a packed house. And it was a weeknight game. So it wasn't like, was it like Tuesday night or Wednesday night? I can't remember exactly.
Something like that,
yeah.
But it wasn't like a packed house. Honestly, Duquesne was losing at the time it happened, and then the DoorDash fake thing spurned them on to win the game and launch a big comeback.
There we go.
I guess good for Duquesne there.
It's weird if you had told me that it was something that had been planned like with the school and the players knew like something like that. Like, okay, that sucks, but that's corporate shit, whatever. But that it was a stunt where it was actually kind of dicey and planned. That is weird. I don't know.
Boo.
So the Big 12 doesn't have a schedule yet.
That feels right.
We are very late into this process, and the Big 12 doesn't have a schedule yet. They're going to have 14 teams next year? 13? How many is it?
What does your heart say? What does your heart tell you? How many
9
teams are in the Big 12?
I feel like it's 13 because it's 9 that they have now plus 4 more. That feels correct. And they're playing a 9-game schedule. And so they're going to have, you know, there's some teams, every team's not going to play. And
I hate this.
Why do you hate this? What else are they going to do? Also, no divisions, by the way. So it is just a randomly selected set of 9.
Sure. Great.
with some protected crossovers for, big rivalries.
Yes.
So
Because what would we do without Bedlam?
What would we do?
I was gonna say it would be really funny if Red River got broken up just for the 1 year. Their last
Honestly,
year.
if I'm the Big 12, yeah, doing it.
Fuck it. Bye.
Yeah, you're leaving. We're sending you to Cincinnati in November. Have fun.
Mhm. So Cincinnati released this video or GIF that can best be described as what was the old Noemi show? Press Your Luck.
Press your luck. That's right.
Mhm.
And so it looked like that because all the schedules boop, 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 boop. And I
You
made the
can put the
comment
sound
that,
effect in here, yeah, if you want.
oh, I
to.
will. And I'll put a no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, stop. The funny thing about it was that they had this thing of, oh, guess our schedule and we'll get you free season or like a free ticket to a game. It was something very small. And then I realized I did poor math to start with. And I said that it was 9 factorial versions of the schedule. But that was only taking but that's wrong because there are 13 teams. And I was just, so under 9 factorial, there's 362,000 possibilities. But one of our followers who's much better at math was like, that's not necessarily true. It's actually something like 6 million possibilities. I forget the exact math. But yeah, there are a lot more possibilities than that. So for a free set of tickets to Cincinnati football, to have, the same odds as, a kind of middling lotto pool, that's rough.
That's right.
Can we have a moment to pivot back to Duquesne just really quickly?
Oh yeah.
Because
Pivot back
I
to
went on a bit.
Duquesne.
I went on a bit of a dive.
Mm-hmm.
So Duquesne has done the following. They took a parking garage, and they
Mhm.
turned it into their student union.
Okay.
They turned
Okay.
a different parking garage into their music school, and they turned yet another parking garage into a dorm.
This is quality urbanism. Good job, Duquesne.
I mean, that's
Is this mixed use? Is that what they call mixed use?
the juice.
I mean, the funny thing is that the thing I most remember about my last trip to Duquesne is what a pain it was to find parking.
That's why.
Yeah.
It feels like Duquesne has their own show on HGTV.
Mhm.
It's like, reclaim this parking garage.
Parking
The
deck
other
wars.
the other funny Duquesne campus thing is that so Duquesne is in Uptown. It's on the Bluff. So it's like if you ever are driving into downtown from Oakland, you
Mhm.
go on 376, you go like down past the bottom of the hill. Duquesne's like up on top of the hill. But
Okay.
there's this big, nice looking building on your right if you're westbound on 376 or the Parkway. If you are, that's how you can tell I'm not actually from Pittsburgh because I call it 376, not the Parkway. Anyway, there's this big, nice looking building, and you drive by and you're like, what is this? It's Allegheny County Jail. And Duquesne paid
Ooh.
to make it look nice because it shows up in all of their campus pictures.
Yep. It just has really interesting windows. What
Yeah.
an interesting window.
Why do
Yeah.
the windows look like that?
It's
Hold up, I gotta see this.
spectacular.
I gotta
It's
see
so
this.
good.
Oh, that is pretty.
Yeah.
Those are some weird windows, though. Kamish,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna throw this in the Discord for you to see. It's delightful.
Oh yeah, it's
really,
spectacular.
it just has some kind of odd windows.
Nice. I like that. It looks like a cheese grater.
It does look just
The West Central Pennsylvania term for like where Duquesne is relative to Pitt is up there.
Up there?
So that's where Duquesne is.
nice. Okay. Well
It's
then.
down around back, and Duquesne is up there.
Some local Dallas news now. Someone in the DFW area finally stopped Stetson Bennett. It was, however, the Dallas PD. Instead of playing in the Senior Bowl, Stetson Bennett said he was going to be in Dallas prepping for the draft. And he was arrested for being drunk and banging on doors at 6 a.m.
As you do.
Mhm.
Whom among us has not?
Right. No,
It's happened.
I've been there.
Personally.
This is why whenever we had visiting bands, we would always have their hosts, because they would always stay in dorms, our dorms. And so we'd have their hosts write their room number and cell phone number in Sharpie on their arms with an if found, please return to.
That feels
And-
right.
And campus we told them as campus security knew that if they found one of these people, just to drop them back off at our places. So there we go. What? That is going to be the look. I was being responsible.
Yeah, I guess. I've never luggage tagged people.
Well, you know what?
Well-
I was going to say you've never taken a middle school band anywhere, but you have. You should know better than that.
Oh no, we just assume they'll find their own way home. They have this like homing reflex. They're like the swallows
Like
returning to
pigeons.
Savastwana. Yeah,
Like
yeah, it's gonna be
pigeons.
fine.
God.
I'm just imagining using middle school band kids as like a method of sending messages in the First World War. Run!
Little,
Bad news, guys. The only ones left are the percussionists. They'll never make it.
he'll never make it. God. We have an oboist. We're sending him through Verdun. It's fine.
Oh my god.
We've tucked a note in the back of her neck. Go, child, go. Kamish,
Yeah.
do you have a do you have a story about being lost and banging on doors?
Well, I didn't bang on any doors because I couldn't find any to bang on. So, going to school in Monroe, it's a smaller town, visiting some friends in Baton Rouge at LSU one weekend. We went to a bar. I think it's now called Fred's. It could have been called Fred's back there. And I can't remember the name of it because, I'll tell you the story. So we walked there because there's a bunch of apartments around this area, and that's where my friend lived. And so basically, we got separated at, I guess, closing time. And I'm walking back to the apartment. This is kind of like in the days when you don't really have any text messaging or anything like that whatsoever. I'm trying to walk back, not really knowing my way, and I don't really have my bearings because we've been out all night drinking. So I'm walking, and I take a right, and when I should have took a left, I believe, or I missed my left, and just kept going and wound up on, I believe it's Brightside Drive. I was just walking down Brightside Drive, which was a big street. I'm like, okay, I've never seen this street before. I've gone too far. I am lost. So I just keep walking down the Brightside Drive, and then I come across this school. It is I believe it's the Louisiana School for the Visually Impaired. The one that I see, and I'm like, okay, I am totally lost. I've never seen this school before. I didn't even know this school existed. And so I guess my Stetson Bennett moment, there's really no houses out here on this part of the street of Brightside Drive. So I turn back around and I try to recap where I was, and I can't. So I can't do it. And then I cross Brightside to the other side because I see like 3 or 4 different like apartment complexes and thinking what it is. And then my friend winds up finding me, and she takes me back to a place which it was a little bit of a like wandering adventure for maybe about an hour. I'm glad it wasn't cold or anything like that, but just, I can see how Stetson got a little drunk and maybe wandered off. I don't know the circumstances. Hopefully it's nothing too devious that he was doing, but yeah, it's happened. And I really didn't know we had a Louisiana School for the Visually Impaired until I basically made it to their campus. But oh boy, was I lost. Like, just looking at the map, like this was like an extra like 10-15 minute walk that I totally missed my turn. And I was definitely under the impairment of I don't even know what we were drinking that evening. I just remember being lost and the school for the visually impaired. That's about it.
Alana said that this is only a funny story if that when banging on doors, Stetson Bennett said, "Can I tell you about your Lord and Savior, the Georgia Bulldogs?"
Come on down to Stetson Bennett Kia of Waycross. We got deals.
Deals.
The only time I've always been very good about only getting very drunk in situations where I had handlers or where I was in familiar land. The one time I did not do this was in Salzburg, Austria. I was in Salzburg.
I've done that before.
I ended up at a place that was like a converted monastery beer garden, and so was drinking there. We were drinking with some one of the people I was with this program with. His parents came to visit us there. They were coming through, and so we were drinking. And I had stopped after 2 giant mugs of beer. His mom looks at me and goes, and I was like, "No, I'm not going to drink this." And she goes, "You're going to drink this." So I got hazed by my friend's mom, which is great. And so we end up heading back at different times, but we're in a city that we don't really know. Our hostel's on like the shittier side of town, whatever. I end up having to go pee in the middle of this walk. So I pee on the side of a building when no one's around, go home, go back, whatever. Next day, we start doing the tour of the city. And turns out I had peed on Mozart's birthhouse.
Mozart's birthhouse, yes!
Peed on the corner. So, yeah.
Hey, listen, if you're going to pee on a wall, make it a bright yellow wall.
Exactly right. I should have recognized. I immediately recognized it the next morning.
You idiot.
So, yep, that's how it goes. Oh,
I guarantee you, my friend Becca, who is listening to this and who went to Salzburg with me, just spilled something.
God.
Amazing.
So we've had some offensive coordinator hire moves this week. First off, Miami has fired Josh Gaddis, which, okay, that feels, I don't know that it was the problem, but you got to do something if you're Miami.
Sure, Miami. Sure, it wasn't Mario Cristobal settling for field goals in College Station. Sure, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, okay. But I mean, he won the Broyles Award in 2021.
Yep.
For Michigan, and then he went to Miami, and now he got fired.
Well, it's almost like Miami's quarterback, whose name escapes me, Tyler Van Dyke. It's almost like he didn't live up to the hype.
Weird.
Yeah,
Or he got
How about that?
injured a ton. But yes, okay, both.
If you're an offensive coordinator and your last name doesn't rhyme with Aarons, how much do you think your head coach is willing to protect you? Do you have any faith there whatsoever? Because I always assume that if I'm an offensive coordinator, my head coach is 2 seconds away from throwing me under a moving train if it means he thinks that he'll make the bus 10 minutes faster.
Ooh, I don't know.
So you
Pat
feel like
Narduzzi has not fired any of his offensive coordinators. They all, like the ones that have left. They have not been fired.
Yeah, but Pat Narduzzi hasn't been in like fire danger, really.
No.
well, he's ran them off. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
It
Matt
feels
Canada is like reportedly challenging to work with, but I don't know that Pat Narduzzi like intentionally ran him off, and that's the only one I can think of that really applies to.
It
Maybe
feels
Mark Whipple.
Yeah.
It feels like firing your OC is. It feels like this ship is going down.
Oh yeah.
Maybe if I make the boat lighter, it will help it stop sinking. And so you pitch off your OC,
Right.
and the boat's still sinking.
Or yeah, you either do that with
Yeah.
your OC or your DC, because when I did the who shall not be named, Brian Van Gorder, he
Mhm.
was hired on sinking ships like 5 times.
Yeah.
And basically like Chiswick was in hot water going into 2012, and then he hired Van Gorder as DC,
Mhm.
and so he was done. And then again, I mean, that happened to him like so many different times. I feel bad. Again,
remember when Bo Pelini was hired for a sinking ship? DC?
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus Christ.
like Coach O was like, let's hire Bo Pelini for defense.
I mean, I imagine that this goes like this. Head coach shows up at the AD and the AD's like, it's not going the way we want. We think we need to make a change. And like you jump in as fast as you can and you're like, absolutely. And that's why the offensive coordinator has to go.
That's exactly that I can totally see happening.
And the AD is like, we hadn't thought about that. Well, sure, we can try that.
Great conversation. Good to talk to you. Shake hands, walk out.
Yep, my idea too. Bye, buddy.
Great idea, sir. Well, it's okay because there are some openings. There is a offensive coordinator who now needs a job. Tonight, the Dallas Cowboys news dumped during the AFC Championship game that they're firing Kellen Moore. Really?
Are you kidding me? No. They said they were mutually parting ways. It was mutual.
Mm-hmm.
It was mutual.
That's why Kellen Moore's tweet that he is on a one-way trip to Thailand also.
Oh,
I would.
Oh.
He and Cliff just hanging out, fist bumping in Thailand. Oh God. Clearly, the Dallas Cowboys' problem was Kellen Moore, so I'm glad they fixed their big problem.
Yeah, they fixed it.
He was throwing the interceptions.
Didn't Kellen Moore like get an interview with Carolina for the head coach job?
Yep, he got several interviews.
Jerry's like, I don't like that. No, we're getting rid of you.
I suggested Brian Ferentz for this opening, and Dallas Cowboy fans in our timeline were very unhappy.
In other news, water is wet.
Iowa fans super happy.
Like, yes, please help us. He's more suited for the NFL conservative ways.
Speaking of OCs going places, also news dump tonight, because I'm guessing UTEP wanted the cover of the AFC Championship game. UTEP's offensive coordinator has retired after 40 years in the game. Not at UTEP, but I want to say that UTEP's OC has been coaching for 40 years and does not have a Wikipedia page. And it's not like he's been coaching at small places. He's coached at Michigan State.
Do you have his name?
I find it because I don't even remember it.
Dave Warner. Dave Warner. And I only know that because I started Googling to double check that this is correct. Because this seems like a fairly large oversight for like sports Wikipedia.
Right?
Dave Warner.
Dave
Search.
Warner. Yeah,
Please let him be in the witness protection program. Please
No,
let him be
he's
in the
not
witness
in
protection
here.
program.
No,
Yes.
he's not. So
Yeah, like there's a David Warner disambiguation page and 3 different sports Dave Warners, and none of them are this one.
So this guy was at Michigan State from 2007 to 2019
Wow.
and was there during like the really good Michigan State years. He was co-offensive coordinator during the time when they won the Big Ten championships and went to the Rose Bowl. And he does not have a Wikipedia page. Also at Houston when Dana Dimble was there, and at Wyoming when Dana Dimble was there too.
So he's either incredibly boring or unbelievably interesting.
He feels like he's kind of boring, I won't lie, but I don't have proof of that. It just feels that way.
Is this like the old man that refuses to get a cell phone? Like the assistant coach that refuses to get a Wikipedia page?
The fact that no one, like, Wikipedia, people put all sorts of stuff on there. How does this person who is, like, sports Wikipedia is so good at this stuff?
I do not. Yeah, he's like, he meets the notability standards too. And like, that's the other thing is that sometimes people don't get them because Wikipedia has decided that they are insufficiently important. But like, every offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator has a Wikipedia page for like any of the FBS schools. So this is just like there's some sports nerd somewhere like made some sort of oversight.
Even Biff Poggi finally got a Wikipedia page.
But he had one. It was a stub, but he had one.
So what if this is a situation where like he pissed off a grad assistant so badly that grad assistant is like, I will do everything in my power to erase you from existence, old man.
that I believe. Some fucking Wikipedia bureaucrat got pissed off at him.
Every
like,
day,
not notable.
Yeah, like every day, Trevor, the former grad assistant, is refreshing Wikipedia. Like, is he back? Is he back? He's back. Oh, the stupid son of a bitch.
Like the pharaohs who followed Akhenaten trying to remove him from the historical record.
So his actual career was grad assistant at Syracuse, running back coach at Syracuse, quarterback coach at Kent State, quarterback coach at Kansas, quarterback coach at Bucknell, passing game coordinator at Wyoming, offensive coordinator at Connecticut, passing game coordinator at Houston, wide receivers coach at Southern Miss, QB coach at Cincy, QB coach at Michigan State, offensive coordinator at Michigan State, quarterbacks coach at Michigan State, and then on to UTEP. Like that's a real career. That's a big time
that's worthy of
coordinator
Wikipedia.
Career.
Come on now.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it. Whatever. What did they do with Brian Kelly? What did LSU do?
LSU mistakenly overpaid Brian Kelly by $1 million.
How do you fuck up $1 million in payroll?
The same way the Pac-12 did with Comcast?
God damn it. No, I have never had a job that has fucked up $1 million in payroll to me personally.
It's a measure of how old I am at this point that I look at that and I'm like, oh no, now your taxes are going to be a whole mess this year.
IRS is accepting returns now, by the way. I filed mine today.
I need
this
to.
This feels like a little bit of a shell game by Brian Kelly and LSU here. The report revealed that LSU made supplemental payments directly to Kelly when he was hired. However, the school also been making supplemental payments to Kelly's LLC at the same time, and so they found it in an audit. State auditors noted multiple errors related to coaches' pay. Last year, the school also misclassified nearly $6.7 million in severance payments as coaching salaries, benefits, and bonuses in its statement of revenue, and omitted nearly $140 million in debt on its NCAA financial report. Man, that's some good classic Cajun cooking of the books right there.
Yeah, I was about to say that's classic.
Ooh wee, that's some spicy accounting.
I'm trying to find what his LLC
as opposed
means.
to the kind of spicy accounting that you might find on TikTok.
That's right. Brian Kelly's LLC is called Brian Kelly LLC.
Man, I was hoping for something way better than that.
I'm really sad that our LLC is not called Brian Kelly LLC all of a sudden.
That would be
Brian Kelly LLC.
Yeah.
No,
what
okay.
Brian Kelly 3 L's LLC doing business as Sickos Committee.
DBA Sickos Committee. All right, can I change that?
Is
Can we
this
change that?
sovereign?
No.
Wait, is this sovereign citizen shit? Where it's like, oh no, this is my corporation. I'm a corporation. I am not a human. You cannot arrest me as a human. I am a corporation. Is this how
We
sovereign
only
citizens work?
recognize flags with the fringe.
Only. If it does not have the yellow fringe, it is not a court that I wish to be brought up in.
He's just trying to avoid like French law down in Louisiana. I get it.
God, Napoleonic Code is so weird. Who knows?
We're going to need to split your LLC in half. Why? We can't tell you.
But I mean, split your LLC in half. I mean, here's the sword. You have to take a sword to the books. You don't have your sword, against the law. You must have a sword in court in Louisiana.
This sounds like the Solomonic Code to me.
Yes.
It's pretty much the same.
Yeah, I assume Napoleonic Code derives from Solomonic law. That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Guys, I have a goal for this next football season for me. I'm going to try to go to a game in Burrow, Alaska. Or not Burrow now. It's Utakvis. I got to by the pronunciation.
The location formerly known as Barrow. I think the high school is still named Barrow High School.
It is.
I believe so, yes.
The Barrow Whalers.
Please don't get eaten by a polar bear.
Yeah, that's one thing I'd be afraid of.
Utqiagvik, I believe. Utqiagvik. So Utqiagvik, Alaska, formerly known as Burrow, Alaska, is the northernmost point in the United States, and they have a high school football team. And it turns out they have a game on August 19th at noon. And I think I'm going to try to go. It is 24 hours of flights. I think my most direct way is Dallas to Seattle to Anchorage to Barrow. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to go.
I immediately brought up this thing when you were talking about trying to go. I was like, I wonder if I can pull this off too. And I started talking with the wife, and she was just like, hell no. And I was just like, so I got shut down. And the thing, what really sealed the deal is she was like, where is Barrow, formerly known as Barrow, located? So I was like, it's in Alaska. It's at the very top of Alaska. And so I scrolled out from the point on the map to where we are at the map in South Texas here. And she was like, holy shit. And it's like, hell no. And it's like, and so, I mean, for me, I could probably get there too. And there's like 15 hours of flying. I actually have easier flights apparently from San Antonio, but it's looking like, oh man, there's one, I think the fastest I could get there, but it would be like 40 hours of travel. I'm sorry, the cheapest I could get there, it'd be 40 hours of travel. It would be like $1,000 to do it. But it feels like a bucket list thing that, I mean, seriously, you'd be at the top of the world. The hotel, I even looked at the hotel up there.
I too.
It's called the top of the world. That's the best one. I saw this one that was like some Airbnb, and then like one of the pictures, it was just like bugs everywhere.
Yep.
I was like, what type of bugs are up in Alaska? Come on, man. I don't want to deal with that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm looking at flights on your behalf right now, Jordan. Not for that date, just in general, looking at Google Flights. Because I attempted to put Dallas to Utqiagvik, I'm sorry, into Google Maps, and it's like, you can't drive here, which makes sense. But it doesn't even give you driving directions to like the closest place you can drive to and then fly. It's just like, no, don't try this.
Don't do this.
You can't drive. You can't get there. You can only get there by flight, I believe. There's no road there.
You can't, but you could drive to somewhere else in Alaska and then take a flight from there, maybe. Anyway, so you can fly for about $1,000 round trip out of DFW via Alaska Air. So you fly out of DFW to Seattle, and then from Seattle to Anchorage, and then from Anchorage to Wiley Post Will Rogers Memorial Airport.
So for the dates I'm looking, it's actually only $750.
Hey,
which brings it
now.
Which brings it from it like insane to like, oh, that's just right on the edge. Yeah, I may do this, guys. We'll see what happens, because this feels just stupid enough for me to take pictures, at that fucking blue field that I always post.
Well, PittGirl, if we want to do it, I think we can fly out of State College for $1,500 round trip if we're willing to do an overnight layover.
There we go.
Baltimore. Baltimore is 11:58 for August 17th through 20th.
There you go.
It's a little steep. And an overnight layover.
Yeah, no, all these have like although Anchorage has a really nice airport because it was built.
Mhm.
It was built when all the transcontinental flights had to stop in Anchorage. So the airport apparently is super nice. Apparently, Anchorage also used to be a very like cosmopolitan town because you had all these international flights stopping and laying over, and you had all these European and Asian influences in Anchorage of all places. That used to be a huge hub.
Always a joy to find out that there is a fellow Wendover Productions watcher in the group.
Everything I know about Alaska, I learned from either watching Deadliest Catch or watching the Ethan Hawke White Fang that was on the Disney Channel when I was a kid.
I
Alaska
assume
is
this
one of
is-
my
this is
favorite
gonna
Wikipedia holes.
Same.
The least attended national park in the entire country is like in the middle of nowhere in Alaska.
I may see if I can finagle it. CFB Campus Tours says he's going to go too. So if we could split rental and car and whatever, that might actually make this way more reasonable. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I bet they'll let you into the game for free if you offer to be the bear spotter.
I'll get on top of the bus and watch for bears. Although
Oh.
I'm really bad with a gun. I think I've told you this story. The only time I've ever shot a gun, like a gun, even like a BB gun before, I shot my grandpa in the arm. So
Oh,
That's a bad start.
once you've hunted humans, I feel like the rest it's never really. I've had the taste for the deadliest game, so I feel like I can't
Thank you, Henry James.
Sure.
do it anymore, or else it's gonna go bad.
Do it.
Please don't hunt polar bears with a BB gun. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, no, they have spotters who have real guns, things like that. Like I said, I know that this summer I'm gonna fuck around and find out and end up in Toledo for the Italian Bowl game. I just know that's gonna happen. That's just how it's gonna be. And this is another one. I'm gonna fuck around, joke, and find out that I'm gonna end up in Barrow, Alaska, in August. 35 degrees, watching a football game at the edge of the ocean and the world.
That might be kind of like I feel like that would be kind of nice after spending like August in Texas though. Like it's like when it's really hot and I walk into the freezer at work.
hmm
It's just so cold in there.
Except this freezer has polar bears.
That's a plus to me.
That sounds like a normal freezer.
Kamish, what's this ad you keep getting?
I don't know.
Whopper, 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 whopper.
No, I
It's
wish.
not that one. It's not that. Even though we did bevel that, which was, I think we lost a couple of Instagram followers because of that. I posted it. There. So it's fine. It's fine. Whatever. I mean, I can't figure out Instagram anyway. I'll get it eventually, but I'm really not trying too hard. So, I don't know. I keep getting this ad like promoted to me. It is called Noble Roman's Craft Pizza and Pub. And this ad, it says, "Don't be scared. Make it a monster pizza with more cheese, toppings, and sauce for just $2 more. Available until it goes back into hiding at participating locations." So it's this weird monster with this pizza, and the monster has like a chef hat on, and it's a promoted ad that I keep getting. And I don't know why I keep getting this ad. This chain is out of Indiana. I live in
Huh.
San Antonio, Texas. There's only locations in Indiana. I don't know why I'm getting this ad. I don't get it. It's hilarious. Like, I'm like, do they want me to go to Indiana? Somebody said,
so.
I think Chickens and Dad told me, it's like, hey, it's really trying to get you to go to the Big Ten championship game. And I was like, okay.
There is one inside Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore also.
There you
That
go.
one is the nearest one to me.
It was meant for me to talk about it on the podcast to make you go.
hmm
There
That's
we
what
go.
it is.
The
But it-
mascot.
Began- Oh, no, I bet I know what it is. So I'm looking at their website. They began on campus at IU.
Okay.
Okay.
So our college stuff is catching it. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's not exactly the same, but kind of like how early ACC Network, or I think this was even before ACC Network was officially a thing, some of the like RSNE ACC sports broadcasts were for the longest time sponsored by Mellow Mushroom, and they had like the most bizarre ads also. And I spent like a year being like, what is this place? Where is this place? Because it's a very like traditional ACC country pizza joint that I have never been in and will never go to.
We have them in Texas now.
Huh.
Like they're way bigger now. Yeah.
As a person who grew up with the like Showbiz Pizza into Chuck E. Cheese family of pizza generic like mascot products, I find the level of fur on this thing that is touching food to be deeply upsetting. Like
It looks
this is like a Snuffleupagus length fur thing that is like, look at me pet your food, and I just ugh.
It's a really bad Cookie Monster, but like
Mhm.
actual Cookie Monster.
that has like a mouth like a Gumby character.
Yes, it is. It is Gumby's mouth. Yeah, it is. It is a mess. It's been on my personal Twitter. Whoever's listening to this and they follow the personal Twitter, again, I'm sorry for being very boring as a normal human being compared to the other side of the Sickos account. But yeah, I don't know what this is, but I keep getting it. It's ridiculous. It's been going on for 2 weeks now, and I'm just make it stop, Twitter. I'm not supposed to be getting this.
Its eyes are following me. I hate it.
Don't make me block this pizza place.
I'd like to return this pizza to the kitchen. It's got a hair in it. The guy goes back there. It's like, whose fucking hair is this? It's blue. Okay, it can't be many people's. Barbara, I know you just got your hair dyed. Is this yours? Pizza Monster. She's like, oh, pizza. Me wear hairnet.
Full body net.
I was about to say what kind of because at Costco you see people with the beard nets too, and like the beard mustache combo nets, and like I can't imagine what a Cookie Monster would need to wear to do food service.
It would look like it was about
long sleeves, probably.
Right? Yeah.
It's just gonna look like it's about to rob a bank,
like a balaclava. Okay, opening of the Dark Knight. But they're all dressed as Muppets.
Everybody's Muppets except Heath Ledger.
First off, I want to talk about the FA Cup. FA Cup, if you guys don't know, is basically the biggest knockout tournament in the world. England has a lot of teams, let's say. Soccer teams at different levels. In this FA Cup, there were 732 that competed. And they start with like local rec teams way down on the pyramid, and they go up. And today was a huge game between Wrexham and Sheffield United. Wrexham is a 5th-tier league. You may have heard of them because Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia bought the team. And that has been a show that they've been doing on FX, which is very good, called Welcome to Wrexham. And this is a team that is sort of was hanging on for dear life and has been like punching above their weight lately. They're moving up. Sheffield United is a perennial sort of like 2nd-tier power in English football. They're in the 2nd tier, so this is like 5th tier versus 2nd tier. And Wrexham almost beat them today. It was 3-2 until like extra time, 95th minute, and Sheffield United scores. But because it's the FA Cup, that means that there is no extra time for the first match. What they do is they just play the game again. They start 0-0, they move it to the other site, whatever was home goes away, and they play the game again.
Replay.
That's beautiful, guys.
Oh my god.
Let's go fighting Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just picturing this because the only thing that I really know about like English soccer and about the FA Cup, everything I learned about this, I learned from Dear Hank and John, the podcast, in which John Green reports on the stylings of AFC Wimbledon, which is now in the 4th tier of English soccer. Mm-hmm. So Wrexham is going to make a ton of money off of this, and that is good for them as a team. There's that piece. But also just having the general understanding of this like layers. This is like if a like middling conference FCS team or like a top tier D2 team beat Boise State. Like this is a big deal, or tied Boise State. This is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. Yes, Wrexham has some new talent and some new money and stuff like that, but still.
Some people have related it to an NAIA team hanging with an FCS team. So basically tying an FCS team, like an upper FCS team, like NAIA hanging on with North Dakota State or something like that. So that it seems that crazy. So Wrexham's in the National League, which is basically the 5th tier. They did lose their promotion battle last year to Grimsby Town, who also drew with the championship side in the FA Cup. So take that, Ryan Reynolds. Let's go Mariners out there in Grimsby Town. That's right.
Big Grimsby Town fan here.
Big Grimsby Town fan because I played with them on FIFA 2010, and I've been following them ever since.
There you go.
I did all the achievements to get them all the way to the Premier League, so I've been following a stupid team because of this. Which I mean, they drew too. They drew too. They're a League 2 team. They drew against Luton Town in the championship. Yeah, so they're having a replay also in the 4th round of the FA Cup. Take that, Ryan Reynolds.
The fact that it's beautiful because 732 teams start.
Nuts.
And one team wins this thing. It's beautiful. And also that it really just start with like dudes fucking around with their friends. Like in the first round proper.
Yeah, like Sunday leagues. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, these are teams from, the
It was
the bottom. Yeah.
What was the one guy, I think it was a couple years ago, where they were playing Arsenal in, I think, the 5th or 6th round or whatever of this tournament.
Mhm.
And there was a like 40 some odd year old backup keeper. And there was a prop bet that he would eat like a meat pie while he
Oh, I
was on
remember
the
this,
bench. Yeah, and he did it. And I think he got caught for doing it. But I can't remember. But the FA Cup is wild. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to watch these little small teams, and you want to root for, like, it's like ultimate Cinderella stories, which eventually down the line the big teams will make it at the end, likely. But there's a lot of Cinderella runs in it. It's a lot of fun to watch.
I'm trying to find the smallest stadium I could find of FA Cup teams. I think I found one that has a stadium of like 200. So
Yeah,
I mean, it starts with like the tiny ones. It's beautiful.
I'm
Very
imagining like, what if we did this with hockey beer leagues, and like we're just gonna put like hockey beer leagues and EHL and AHL and NHL teams
Yeah.
in a
Oh, yeah.
blender and see what comes out.
Mhm.
It's kind of what you could do really with all the teams you got in Canada. The boys out there in Sudbury,
Oh yeah.
in Shoresy or whatever they show is.
give them a shot at the big teams. Come on.
That's right. They can't handle the lumber. It's fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to watch. Once you get towards the end, it's like the big team versus big team, likely.
Yeah, that's when it gets less interesting.
That's when it gets less fun. But like right now, where it's at, where the big teams are added with the little tiny teams, this is the fun. We got some more soccer from, I believe this is from Aberdeen, the Scottish League. One of our Sickos committee members based out there in Scotland, I believe. If I'm incorrect, Rudy,
He's in Edinburgh.
I apologize. He's in
or
Edinburgh.
Glasgow.
Okay.
No, he's in Glasgow.
Glasgow. Okay, all right. So that is correct. All right. There was a manager that was fired, similar to, I would say, maybe a Lane Kiffin style tarmacking, but this happened. He was sacked, as they say. He was sacked, which means fired in Europe.
We got to use that word. We got to use that word more often.
That's right. See, he's been sacked. It's fun to say that way. What happened is basically he got sacked, and instead of going out the normal entrance, he decided to walk across the field where everybody else is like just basically warming down so they don't cramp or anything like that. After that, he walks across the pitch, passes everybody, and he goes out the back entrance to get into the car park. As he's doing this, he's going over one of those advertising boards, and the advertising board has just like a cat with sunglasses on it. I have it in the Google Docs. You can just see him with his little briefcase hopping over it.
Love it.
There's like a video of him just walking across the field, and the players are looking at him like probably like laughing to themselves, like, what happened? Like, our manager just got fired. I don't know if that was the people, or like, did he just get fired and he's walking out this way? It's very confusing. He lost, I guess, 6-0, 1-0, and then 5-0 in 3 games to a team. Basically, he lost 1-0 to a team that's 5 divisions below them. So probably
It's time.
He got outstated.
Way worse than that. I'll
Way
just say
worse.
that. Seriously, like, you pay like a Division 2 team to come fill a schedule in the hole, and you lose there. But it's incredible. Jim Goodwin, if you want to look it up, but it was just absolutely hilarious to watch. Like, we didn't get to see the tarmacking. This one, he just basically did this to himself. I don't know why he did this. But
Self-imposed tarmacking.
seriously,
Yeah.
he's like, he just got sacked instead of going out. I guess maybe to avoid a press conference that he got sacked, or questions.
Yeah,
Ducking out. Let me duck out.
So instead, they got like a Ministry of Silly Walks style picture of him trying to hop over an advertisement. Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. It's incredible. I linked the tweet in there, and you can just see him walking, and you can see the players like covering their mouths, like, did they just fire him, or?
I propose that we now call leaving any sort of event by hopping a fence the Scottish goodbye.
I like it.
Yep, sold.
Done.
Yep.
Irish goodbye, you just leave without saying goodbye, and you just like disappear. The Scottish goodbye is hopping over a fence with a cartoon cat with sunglasses on it. Yes.
Swinging back to the FA Cup, I'd like to talk about the names of all their rounds. Okay, I'm going to go through all the round names for this.
Back to the FA.
So starting with like the smallest teams. There's the extra preliminary round, the first qualifying round, second qualifying round, third qualifying round, fourth qualifying round. First round proper, second round proper, third round proper, fourth round proper, fifth round proper, quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals.
This is painfully English.
Isn't it though? That's what I was thinking.
Ugh,
Yeah,
it's very...
it also reminds me of like olive oil grades where like you walk in and there's all the olive oils and they all cost different things. And it's like, but what is the actual difference between virgin olive oil and extra virgin olive oil and extra virgin olive oil? No one knows.
In the first round, if you lose, you get in the extra preliminary round. My bad. I'll use proper
Which is
terminology.
not the same as the first round.
Right. If you lose, you get 375 pounds. If you win, you get 1,125 pounds. That's enough beer money for your friends for a long time. Not that long. Not that long.
Depends on how many friends you have.
Yeah, depends.
The last thing I want to say about today's football before we get into our history lesson is Notre Dame put out a tweet that said Ian Book is Super Bowl bound. Yes, Ian Book is technically with the Eagles.
He is? Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
He is technically an Eagle.
I believe he is the emergency quarterback, which we had some fun emergency quarterback situations for the 49ers. But so maybe let's hope that doesn't happen.
I'm going to post a headline that is from December 23rd, 2020 about Ian Book and the Eagles. I'm going to put that in the Discord.
I think it is important to point out just who. Oh, jeez.
The headline is just who exactly is the Eagles backup quarterback Ian Book.
Real questions.
That was posted on December 23rd.
Yeah,
that was about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's also important, and this was brought to my attention by fellow committee member Danger, that the classic Penn State post in this vein, the one that reads, "A Penn Stater has appeared in every Super Bowl except for 5 since 1967, is still true as of this year because Miles Sanders is also technically an Eagle.
There we go. Okay, y'all. It's time for a history lesson.
Oh, boy.
Today, I want to talk about the 1939 Rose Bowl.
Do I have to do the noise again? I'll go ahead and do it. This week in Sickos history.
I want to set up what happened in 1938 leading up to the 1939 Rose Bowl, because it was played in 39, but it was for the 38 season. The March of Dimes was founded. Orson Welles' radio adaptation of The War of the Worlds is broadcast, causing mass panic in the eastern U.S. Seabiscuit and War Admiral had their long-awaited race to decide who was the best horse. Seabiscuit won. Nuclear fission was discovered in Germany. I'm sure that was fine.
Yeah. Everything worked out good.
Also, German troops invaded Austria that year.
Not good.
Not great. Superman first appeared.
Why didn't he stop this?
So we had lots of fun stuff going on. Fun in the biggest quotes I could say. Howard Hughes also broke the around the world flight record.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So that's where we're at.
Take that, Magellan.
That's where we're at. First off, I want to shout out College Football History on YouTube, who put up not just a video of this game, but a video with the radio call sync to it.
Oh, beautiful.
So there's a radio sync on this, which makes this video amazing. I'm going to post clips later on, but it's so good. This was the 25th Rose Bowl, but the, I think, 50th Tournament of Roses parade, because the parade had been going on beforehand. Played at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. It was on Monday, January 2nd of 1939, because Sunday was January 1st. They don't play the Rose Bowl in January on Sundays. And first off, I'm going to get in your head who the teams were. This was the number 3 Duke Blue Devils versus the number 7 USC Trojans. This Duke team was amazing. They were known as basically no one had scored on them, unbeaten, untied, unscored on, known as the Iron Dukes. In their whole season, they had not been scored upon going into this game. I'm going to put some pictures in the Discord. First off, the Tournament of Roses Parade, the theme was Golden Memories, and Shirley Temple was the Grand Marshal. If we scroll down a little more in that document, you can see the Duke Blue Devils float, which were 3 Duke Blue Devils wrangling the Trojan horse, and that actually moves. There's a video I'll post. It actually like physically brings the horse head down. It's pretty cool.
The
If you
Blue
keep
Devils
scrolling
are a
down,
little bit scary.
it is. Well, keep scrolling down.
Yeah.
I got another scary one for you.
Oh God.
Ah!
I got a clown float.
Oh my god.
That's the North Hollywood float from that year.
What is that? Is that? Oh
This
god,
was
I
a
can't even say the name. Is
Clown
it?
head.
Oh man, what's the name of the sack? Is it Pagliacci or whatever? No,
Pagliacci.
can't.
No, yeah,
Pagliacci.
yeah, no, not
Pagliacci.
Pagliacci, but definitely could be.
Definitely, yeah. It's a little red there instead of the black, but yeah.
Yeah, that's someone put that on a float. It's a giant ass
Wait.
clown head.
Yeah, like so, and it's next to it's next to this tiny circus tent. So they've invented this terrifying clown kaiju.
Yep, basically.
But it's just the head, so like it can't. What do you do if you're a kaiju that's just a head? Like, do you just wait for people to get in chomping range?
Basically.
So I'm anticipating. I see. To me, this almost looks like a weird jellyfish that instead of having like little tentacles has like the little clown ruff. So does it just sort of like move along with that and slurm across the ground?
Yes.
Like,
Oh, it's like
like
one of
that.
those snails with the real frilly edges.
Yeah. Yeah, horrifying.
Oh,
I
that's
hate it.
horrifying. Yeah.
So this was a horrifying Rose Bowl parade, as you can imagine.
Oh yeah.
And they made an 11-year-old grand marshal it. Beautiful.
Beautiful. So
The
Duke
drawing of her on the program's like slightly uncanny valley too, and I can't put my finger on why.
yeah, it's the staring off in the distance.
It's also the
kinda-
fact that like her head isn't meeting her neck in a way that heads meet necks.
yeah, it's like,
It's giving me some Fallout vibes.
yeah, you know what? I get you.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
something very BioShock about this. Like
Yeah.
extremely BioShock.
Yeah,
about
actually,
this.
if you told me this was a BioShock, like this is one of those like
Yeah,
data
Andrew
things that
Ryan sees the future like, oh no.
so this Duke team had basically destroyed everyone they played with great defense. Offense was fine, but they
Yeah,
were scoring like
offense-
6 points a game. It
offense-
wasn't great.
Offense wasn't that good, so let's just imagine Kirk Ferentz had his way as the Duke head coach here, because up until the Rose Bowl, they had scored 114 points and given up 0.
It's not a lot.
That's it.
114 is not a lot.
114.
No, it is not.
How many games
No.
did they play before this one? 9.
9, yeah.
Yeah.
So they were
But-
averaging, let's say, round up 13 points a game,
Yeah.
giving up 0. So this is Kirk Ferentz's dream right here, I think.
Their high water mark was beating Davidson by 27. They went through, but they also beat a bunch of great ranked teams. They beat
Yeah.
number 9 Wake, number 11 North Carolina, number 7 Syracuse, number 4 NC State, number 4 NC State. Jesus Christ, this tells you where we were, and number 3 Pittsburgh.
Ayo.
I don't what is it? The opponent says number 4 Pittsburgh, rank number 3.
No.
I think
Oh,
that's
sorry, no,
final
I
season
never
rank.
mind.
They
No,
only
I
beat
screwed that
one
up.
ranked team. Yes.
I'm sorry, I screwed that up. They only beat one ranked team, and that was Pitt. The rank is actually where they were ranked.
Yep.
Where Duke was
Okay.
ranked. They only
Oh,
beat
okay.
one ranked team. My bad. They beat ranked Pitt.
Okay.
Fraudulent Duke. That's what I'm hearing
Fraudulent
here.
Duke. So
Duke
92
overrated.
overall. So SC in 38 was 92 overall, 6-1 in conference. They had a home loss to Alabama, their opener, and then they lost at a very bad Washington team, 6-7. Which you can imagine, November 12th at Washington, a 6-7 game, just being really gross. But they also were putting up big numbers. SC beat UCLA this game 42-7. Seeing 42 points in a 1938 football game must have been like seeing a spaceship take off. I'm not sure how they dealt with that.
The 1938 version of 76-61.
Right. So some stats from this game, y'all. SC had 13 first down to Duke's 5. SC had 128 rushing yards to Duke's 84. Now let's talk about the passing game. SC passed for 30, completed 12, and had 3 interceptions. Duke passed for 13, completed 4, and had 2 interceptions. Passing was great. SC passed for 81 yards. Duke passed for 59.
Can we
And-
come up with Detmer numbers for this game?
Yeah,
Because I think they would be zesty.
and
Well, not really, because there was not any touchdowns.
that's
bounced
Rob.
out.
There's no touchdown.
Yes, it'd be
There's
rather
one.
low.
SC only had 200 yards of offense to Duke's 143. So I want to put you in this game. It was scoreless through 3 quarters. It was back and forth. It was a punting game, basically. The first video I'm going to show you is of the absolutely filthiest stiff arm I've ever seen.
McNeil is over the ball. Lansdale is back. There's the shift. The shift over to the right. To the left, rather, pardon me. Here he comes. Lansdale with the ball. He's smearing one tackler up. Shaking away. And he gets up over the midfield stripe. Gets up to the Duke 45-yard line.
Oh, that's like classic Heisman pose.
Yes.
Beautiful.
No face masks either, if you'll notice.
Oh.
So that was a
pads too. It looks like
he dribbled his face like a basketball.
Yep. So he basically just put his hand into that dude's face, like clenched down on, I assume bowling ball style. One finger, thumb in the mouth, 2 fingers in the eye sockets, and just let him go. That's how I would do it.
Like, that's a little move we like to call sit your ass.
So the next one I'm going to show you is the moment that they almost lost this game. So Duke hits a three-pointer, Jesus Christ, a field goal at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and it looks like they're just going to hold them down.
We are talking about Duke. I can understand why you would start thinking it's basketball.
Right.
We should probably use basketball terminology so that our Duke listeners feel more at home.
So
we do aim to be a welcoming podcast.
So SC has to punt, and they punt the ball down to the Duke 5. And then this happens.
It's punt formation. Ollie Day is back. He's standing about 12 yards behind the line of scrimmage. There's the pass from center. There goes the kick, and it's a beautiful high twisting spiral. Spangler is standing down on his 10-yard line waiting for the ball to come down. And he fumbled it. There's a big pile of players down there. He was hit very hard. Spangler was hit very hard just as he caught that ball, and he dropped it. There's a big pile of players down there, and USC has recovered. USC has recovered that fumbled punt by Spangler. It was Phil Gasper, who dove in under that pile of Duke and Trojan players and picked up that ball on the Duke 10-yard line. It's first down, 10 yards to go for a touchdown for the USC Trojans. Boy, this looks like the break in the ball game they've been looking for. Those Blue Devils from Duke have been playing a beautiful defensive game, and they've lived right up to their reputation. But here is the break the Trojans have been looking for. Can they penetrate that stone wall defense?
Back coaches in 1938.
They definitely would have needed one after that play.
I mean,
that's when they were invented.
They would need to keep the coach back from like putting his cigarette out in that player's arm. Kid, come here, kid. Don't touch the fucking ball. So now I gotta tell you about what happened after this. SC did not score there. They got backed up to the 15 and missed a 23-yard field goal. So it's still 3-0 going into the last 2 minutes of the game. And then USC coach Howard Jones sent in Doyle Nave, their 4th string quarterback. The story about this is pretty murky, but I'm going to give you the most commonly accepted version. SC's offense had basically had nothing against Duke's defense. The running game was bad. And so they got the ball with about 2 minutes left and were going down the field. They'd been running it and sort of passing it. It was fine. But it wasn't going to work, and they were desperate. So Joe Walensky was an assistant for the freshman team. His job on game days was to man the telephone line, which connected the USC assistants spotting the game from up above to the coaches on the sideline. So even back in 38, 39, they had the phone. He'd seen the team practice all season.
All those phones have remained the same.
Yes, they're still, I assume this was still like a great.
They all have rotary phones. That's it.
I'm imagining one of the old like speaker and like hold the speaker.
Oh yeah, like the.
Oh, yeah. I'm imagining like the Hill 304 movie where like somebody's just like running a coil of wire across things. It's basically like 2 people with 2 cups yelling at each other.
So this guy who was the assistant on the freshman team.
On through.
Exactly. Operator, put me through to the sideline, please. So he knew that 4th string quarterback Doyle Nave, who had only played 28 minutes all season, had a hell of an arm. He was not a runner, a punter, or a defender, but this dude could wing it. And that's what this kid thought they needed. So there is some dispute about this part of the tale. But basically, Walensky faked a phone conversation from up in the booth. He picks up the phone, pretends like he's yelling, and then slams it down. And then goes upstairs, send in Doyle Nave, send him in. And Coach Howard Jones puts the substitution in because his spotters upstairs said that that's what they were going to do. So he did that. Fellow freshman assistant Nick Pappas, who passed on the message to put in Nave, later recalled noticing how the assistant coaches who Walensky had been speaking with were actually down on the sideline. I looked at Walensky and said, Joe, you faked the phone call. He said, yeah. I told him, don't tell anyone.
Do crimes.
Another telling of the story is most straightforward, saying the people above saw that this was a good idea and called down to say that.
I'm not buying that. I'm going to buy it.
I'm choosing to imagine this quarterback as off-brand Joe Milton.
He was.
Yeah.
Not off-brand. Not off-brand. He was just Joe Milton.
Yeah. Rocket launcher on top of a Roomba. Nothing else.
Yep. Apparently, Joe Walensky was also at law school at the time, so he was worried about getting like in ethical trouble for this too. So that was some of the reasons they did not do this. I'm gonna show you some of the passes from the end of this game. Here's the first pass that Doyle threw, and this is the scariest drop back I've ever seen. You're gonna have to blow it up because it's kind of tiny. There is no audio for this, unfortunately.
What was that, like a 17-step drop?
Right? Oh my God. Just panic.
1,
and his
2,
O-line
3, 4,
gone.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's at least a 10-step drop.
Yeah, he is running for his life. But he stood tall and threw. Good for him.
Cannon. He had a hell of an arm.
Potato gun goes yeet.
Here's the second pass he threw, which again, also scary as shit.
Not as much as a drop this time.
He loved hanging back in the pocket, though.
He did.
And throwing into double coverage.
Mm-hmm. And here was the winning touchdown pass.
Dave coming up, and he's throwing a pass out there to Kruger, and it's complete across the goal line. It's complete across the goal line. Touchdown. It's a touchdown. Southern California goes out in front 6-3 in front of Duke University. Oh, what a ball game this is. Now they're getting ready for that try for extra points. Coming up, Doyle Nave will kick. Jasper will kick. Nave is holding the ball. There's the kick, and it's good also. It's good.
What a ball game this is, folks.
What a ball game.
Camera guys like flailing the camera around.
The camera guy is so excited you can't even tell. You can also hear the people in the booth screaming.
Look at the old-timey scoreboard too.
Right?
Oh yeah.
It's insane that we have this video and this audio.
It's awesome.
Technology is amazing.
It is.
He completed 4 straight passes.
4 straight passes. So
we gotta give the nicknames here.
We have to. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right,
so this was 4th string quarterback Doyle Nave of the Trojans completed 4 straight passes to sophomore end Antelope Al Kruger, who outmaneuvered Eric the Red Tipton of Duke and scored the winning touchdown with 1 minute remaining. This was the first points scored against Duke this season, and it happened in the last 2 minutes of their season.
Hell yeah!
And they losing the game. SC wins 7-3, and SC tears down the goalposts at the Rose Bowl. And I'm going to post that video too.
The final score, ladies and gentlemen: University of Southern California Trojans 7, Duke University 3. And so the University of Southern California, their fighting Trojans, have kept their record of Rose Bowl appearances clean and have won this game. 7-3, and this Trojan mob is mad. They're tearing the goalposts down at both ends of the field. The teams are rushing out in the center of the field. All of their substitutes. I wish that you could see this undescribable scene of pandemonium as it reigns here in the Rose Bowl.
So the Antelope was inducted into the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame in the class of 1995. But was Doyle Nave inducted? Come on,
God, I hope so.
4 for 4 with a touchdown pass to.
Hey, he played for the Detroit Lions.
He did.
He played for the Detroit Lions, the Hawaii Polar Bears, and the Hollywood Bears.
Beautiful.
Wait, the Hawaii Polar Bears.
Find the logo. We'll bevel it.
I gotta find this.
Absolutely.
Oh, the video of the goalpost getting torn down is an absolute joy because they're H-shaped goalposts too, and so you just like the fans are like somehow separated them and are just standing there wiggling a pole back and forth until
Yep.
they can get it out.
It is great.
It's like they're about to caber toss those things.
Seriously.
Or pole vault.
So
This sport
Nave,
is such a joy.
Nave was inducted into the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame as well,
Oh, okay. Good.
because both him and Kruger were named MVPs. So that's the story of the 39 Rose Bowl. I was led into another rabbit hole that we're going to talk about on Tuesday, because someone asked me when I posted a little bit about this, was this the first time goalposts have been pulled down? I was like, there's no way this could be the first time. 39 feels way too late. And we're going to talk about on Tuesday the first game that I could find that had the goalposts pulled down, the 1876 Harvard-Yale game. I don't have footage, but I have news articles, and it will include one of my favorite quotes ever. I'm very excited about that one. Any questions, anyone, about this beautiful game and all the weirdness around it?
Look at us doing teasers for next episode. We're so
Yeah.
organized.
I know, this is amazing.
No. If you
Organized.
guys, if you're not following College Football Historian on YouTube, please do that. He puts up every day new games to go through, sometimes with audio, sometimes without. He's got dozens, and they're all amazing, because this is stuff that I have never seen before, stuff that has been just like not available easily on YouTube, and definitely worth watching. We're going to draw a lot from his stuff. And also Northwestern puts up a lot of their old games like on their main YouTube account.
Awesome.
Go figure.
Well, I mean, they were ranked 3 in like the 1930s, so
Right. That's how I found out.
that's right. Ah.
Well, folks, anyone got anything else for tonight?
No, we're gonna
I think
have
we
a
learned
bunch
plenty.
of different. I don't know if you want to say anything about me not being here or not, or just make up stuff.
I'm going to make up stuff. Yeah, we're going to make up stuff. It's fine.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they may know if I post it on my Twitter, because I'll probably say something in the next few days or so. But yeah, it's fine. We can just leave it at that. I don't have to say anything on the podcast, I guess.
You're on assignment.
Yeah.
You're on assignment.
I'll be on assignment. Yes, some interesting no sleep duty coming up soon.
Excited. Excited for you, sir.
Uh,
And while
Yeah.
Kamish is gone, that means that no one's there to censor all my posts on the Twitter account. So I'm super excited about that, y'all.
Jordan
super
out here
excited.
starting shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kamish is going to open up his phone at 3 a.m, so tired, and just see a thread of how I've started shit with everyone.
I'm just gonna see nothing but korfball posts.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even
and
talk about the
just
big korfball tournament this weekend.
how. I mean, you could have done that. So
I know. England's premier korfball team, Tornadoes, didn't do so hot at the IKF Satellite Championship.
I mean, I thought you would mention that Denmark won, the handball championship or something, but you skipped that. So,
Man, I'm slacking. Let me tell you.
I know, but yeah, I'm sure you'll have some crazy stuff going on. I'll have my hands full. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for voting in the Sickos CBB poll. We're gonna get those results. Everybody was watching the championship Sunday, so we didn't bother doing any of the spreadsheeting. So we'll have those results later on this week. Kevin and Andrew, Kevin, our spreadsheeter, is going to be on Tuesday night, and we're going to break down the Sickos CBB poll results. We'll also try to get the field of Sickos 68 out there with the automatic qualifiers from each conference. So hopefully that doesn't take Jordan too long.
I gotta remember who's in what conference in this fucking
Yeah.
sport. God.
Well, at least a shout out to Elon University for closing the D1
yes.
Circle of Sicko. So they got their first Division I win. So that means basically this is the transitive property over the entirety of Division I. We got to thank the last few people getting on the board for that big, huge wins. LIU and Elon University. Thank you.
The Elon Phoenix, right?
The Phoenix. Yes, they used to be known as the Fighting Christians.
Like the Phoenix better.
Yeah.
It's less
So-
redundant.
So it basically, their mascot looked like Notre Dame's Fighting Irish, but he was like Christian. So it's like
Hold on,
different
I gotta
color
see-
hair.
I gotta
I'm
see
just
this.
imagining like the
Yes.
the
Fuck out.
leprechaun with a miter.
Holy shit. in the Discord. In the Sickos Discord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like I'm picturing like just call yourself a
Yes.
crusader. Like, just if you're gonna do this, just be a crusader.
No,
and
that's
be
a
done.
fighting Christian.
Yes. I was looking for a better
A
image to
fighting
try to bevel,
Mennonite.
but I
That's-
cannot.
What?
That is
Okay, I want-
off-brand Notre Dame. Also, fighting Mennonites are very much not a thing.
That's very true. This is like Abraham Lincoln and Brutus the Buckeye had a baby.
That's it.
He does look vaguely Amish, and it's the hat and the fact that there's no mustache. I have so many questions.
The
I
fighting.
don't-
Would that be like Brutus Lincoln or? Oh God.
It's
Oh
great.
no!
I'll throw some of these pictures out in our thread too for the podcast because these are great too.
No
Elon
Farrah
is a
Fawcett.
UCC school.
Yeah.
Run, Farrah Fawcett, run! It's not safe.
Oh, when they retired him as the mascot, they had him walk at graduation and gave him a diploma.
Oh,
Aw.
Yeah, reading from the Medium post that I know that we're all pulling from for this.
Yeah.
As the registrar of Elon College for the past 22 years, I never had this problem before, but it seems that I have overlooked one of our graduates. Sorry, Mr. President. It must be that he has taken 78 years to complete his requirements. Quote, different person. President Lambert, we do have a student that we skipped. The following student has completed the requirements for his degree, and I present the last graduate of the class of 2000, the fighting Christian mascot. Mom and Dad, be happy that your child did not take 78 years to graduate.
that's cute. I like that.
It's cute.
That's fun.
Okay, so when they were Elon College, they were the fighting Christians. They changed to Elon University and became the Elon Phoenix.
Okay.
I believe that's that, and I'm sure there's Elon fans that are gonna come after us. Not those type of Elon.
Come after
fans,
me, Elon
but
fans.
like
Well, that's
the other Elon fan.
that's the problem with talking
Elon.
about Elon. Is when you post about it, you have to be careful because you end up with a lot
No,
of
I actually I will say the university just to avoid that.
Ah, Rasputin.
That is evidently the mascot head is missing. This picture is in the section of that article that talks about the head being missing.
I mean that Christian's been through a lot of fights. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, y'all. I guess we'll see everyone on Tuesday. Have a good week. Bye, everyone.
The Trojans are still in there fighting. Let's listen to that band come through with the old Trojan fight song.